Hi, and welcome to the ForkMasters interview with Liesbet Pryke. My name is Chris Aven, and I'm a biofield tuning practitioner and the founder of ForkMasters. That's a program for biofield tuning practitioners to practice group tuning. And Liesbet is a certified biofield tuning practitioner, a ForkMaster, a yoga instructor, a hypnotherapist, a massage therapist, and a therapeutic breath worker. She was born and raised in the UK and lived in Texas for 14 years and currently resides in Miami, Florida. Welcome, Liesbet.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Nice. I was going to describe what biofield tuning is for anybody out there who isn't familiar with the modality. And I'm going to read from a quote from the lady who developed it, Eileen McCusick. And she says, biofield tuning is a simple, effective method for shifting the rhythms and patterns of the body's electrical system. Using the coherent input produced by a tuning fork, the body is gently supported in recognizing and correcting its own vibrational imbalances. Our job as practitioners is to simply find the noise and resistance in the biofield and stay with it until the body auto-corrects. Liesbet, how did you get here? What was your path?
Um, well, I started in the late 90s doing yoga and massage. Um, I started doing Kundalini yoga. Did a teacher training, and I've done various things, prenatal yoga, doulaing, Thai massage, shiatsu, all different kinds of things. And then later, after working with a lot of pregnant women during labor, I started doing hypnosis. And it's only recently that I got involved with the biofield tuning. I think it was just kind of a natural progression in some strange way. A couple of people told me about Eileen's book. And actually, one of my clients told me about tuning and said, you should learn everything there is to know about tuning. And it was one of those things where at first I rolled my eyes thinking, I don't want to do that. And then the more I read about it, it kind of connected with me and the hypnosis. It has some similarities because we're looking for things energetically in the field in different age ranges so that you can have a better life in the now. So I kind of like how that there was kind of an overlap there for me that was interesting. And I've also been doing some inner child work. So it was also interesting to kind of combine and do a hypnosis or inner child work and then comb in through the field and see what was there, how it showed up in the field and how it showed up in the mind. So I think it was just kind of, I don't know, it was just meant to be.
Well, having experienced your sessions, solo and group session work, I can just say that you bring like all that stuff you mentioned, like you feel that foundation in your work. It's like so nurturing, so relaxing, and deep and profound at the same time, like really getting into all that is in our fields, and like you do it in such a way that it's just very gentle.
I think as
Yeah.
well what I was experiencing at the very beginning of my biofield tuning training was that I was doing some quite intense, more like psychotherapy and practicing on my friends. And then when I would practice with the tuning forks, it just seems so much more seamless and less painful. It's like,
That's true.
it's like you don't have to like drag the story out because at the end of the day, I mean, your story is obviously important, but I think sometimes we don't need to know the story just to clean up that energy or switch
Yeah.
the energy to more coherent energy. And that's also comes through in the breath work too, is like sometimes we come across emotional things, but we don't need to know why. It's just important to release it or let it go.
That was a great description of the work. Do you like to combine those things into your biofield tuning sessions?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think we're taught, aren't we, to remind people to breathe. Because having said all of that about combing through people's energy field, I think people get stuck either in the energy or perhaps they're nervous about what we might see or feel into. So I think it's always good to remind people to breathe. It seems very common too that people, they're just not breathing properly, even when they're supposed to be relaxing. And also, um, we can say, oh, at this age, something happened, and we can talk about the negative thing that happened, supposed negative thing, or whatever the energy that's revealed there. Um, and in hypnosis, we like to acknowledge that and then implant something positive. So if you come across, oh, I'm feeling a lot of lack in your mid-20s, let's say, you could announce that, and then you could also say, let's open up to feeling prosperous now, like acknowledging that at that time of our life, perhaps we weren't feeling that great, or we were we were poor, or whatever the word is that we use. But let's open up to now being prosperous, so that we can remove or switch the energy and then add in something more, you know something
Mm,
that's more juicy, more
that's
friendly.
yummy. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you. I'm thinking about like your experience as a solo tuner and those sessions and how those are different from like group sessions.
I think there are some similarities in that, I'll work with whatever feels loudest in my, from with my fork. Um, and, I haven't done any huge groups, but in the group tunings that I have done, does seem to be a theme that runs through. It's kind of interesting how, you know, people with similar themes kind of
Yeah.
show up to those events. Um, And it's interesting too, even when I'm working with someone, I'm thinking of someone that I worked with just the other day. She kept saying something about, let's say it was her knee, but I was hearing there was something that was for me much louder in the field.
Mm.
So I just always listening to see what's loudest. I mean, obviously, if you're receiving, I don't know. I don't know what people's preferences are. I've received from in a group tuning and had really profound results and profound relaxation. And as we were saying earlier, it felt like the person was talking directly to me, whoever was leading the session. So I think it's just, something to try. Try a group session. Try with an individual session.
Yeah.
I don't. I think I prefer having an individual session, but I also enjoy the group sessions.
I know the individual sessions really get into like what you have personally, like things to work on. And even though I've experienced that too, where you're in a group session and you feel like the biofield tuning practitioner is kind of calling you out or speaking directly to you, but then at the end of the session you find that like three or four of the other participants felt the same way. So I think also I'm discovering how much of our experience is kind of in common in a thematic way, but that
Right.
that individual work can really get in a little tighter into those areas and clear it up. But yeah, I love an individual session. It's
I know.
tell me more
Because it
about
depends on
me.
your mood, right? If you want to be
Yeah.
center of attention, have an individual session. But a group
That's
session is great if you don't know the work and you want to get a
yeah.
feel for it and you don't want to pay for an individual session, or I don't know. It's still, even though I've seen how effective it is and how profound, the responses are, it still seems kind of magical to me. Every time I'm always
Yeah.
surprised. It's like, wow, when you get the feedback, right? It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
It is. It is. It'll be a virtual session, and the session can go like 40 minutes to over an hour, but it just depends on the group. But that's generally what it is. But we'll get in and we'll have a little chat beforehand, get warmed up, and then Liesbet will lead the tuning. And I'm thinking about leading the tuning as if we're all gonna like join in or something, but Liesbet is going to do the tuning, and we're all going to enjoy and benefit from it. So, last thoughts, how to reach you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, you can find me at my website is nourishingbodyandmind.com. And it's interesting, I already feel like it's out of date. I'm there. You can find me on Facebook and all the usual, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Okay, awesome. So, please join us, and thank you so much, Liesbet. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look
Thank you,
forward to
Chris, for
seeing
having
you.
me. I look forward to seeing you on April the 20th.